On one of the pages, she came across an entry written with a trembling hand. "The painting must not be restored. It harbors a curse that will destroy everything around." These words made her ponder her safety, but they also fueled her desire to uncover the truth. Claire understood that she was facing something much more complex than just restoring a painting. The next day, armed with tools and determination, Claire began working on the painting. Every brush stroke revealed new details hidden under the layer of time. She worked diligently, concentrating on every line, every stroke, trying to understand what the artist wanted to convey. As the painting came to life under her hands, Claire felt an unknown force drawing her toward the mystery she needed to solve. With each passing day, her fascination with the painting grew stronger. She spent hours at work, forgetting about time and the outside world. Gradually, Claire began to notice strange occurrences. Shadows flickered around her, and whispers echoed in the house, audible only to her. These phenomena made her feel uneasy, but she couldn't stop. One evening, as she once again found herself alone in the living room, Claire saw eyes filled with sadness and fear staring at her from the depths of the painting. She instinctively recoiled, but then looked back at the canvas. The eyes vanished, leaving her in confusion and anxiety. She tried to explain the phenomenon as fatigue or a play of light, but deep down she understood that it was something more. Claire realized she needed to seek help. She called her best friend Sarah, a journalist, and told her everything that was happening. Sarah, with a keen sense for sensation, immediately realized that this could be her chance for a major investigation. She was known for her ability to solve complex mysteries and see what eluded others. "I'll come tomorrow," she said, hearing the concern in Claire's voice. "We'll figure out this mystery together." Claire felt relieved, knowing she wasn't alone in this strange adventure. She believed that together with Sarah, they could unravel the mystery of the painting and uncover the secrets hidden within Harrington Manor. Sarah arrived the next day, full of enthusiasm and readiness to work. Armed with the necessary tools and knowledge, the two women set out to explore the manor. The walls of Harrington Manor held many secrets. Sarah and Claire discovered that the manor's previous owners, the Harrington family, had disappeared under mysterious circumstances several decades ago. Their estate had passed to Jackson, a distant relative who also knew little about the manor's past. While Claire continued working on the painting, Sarah decided to explore the abandoned wings of the manor. They were locked, but with the help of an old key found in the journal, she managed to open one of the doors. Inside, she discovered antique furniture covered in dust and long corridors that seemed to lead nowhere. In one of the abandoned halls, Sarah stumbled upon an old portrait similar to the one Claire was working on. Under the portrait was the same inscription: "The secrets of the past live in the shadows." This discovery only heightened her interest and desire to solve the mystery. Meanwhile, Claire noticed that the painting began to change. The colors became brighter and the details sharper. But with each new stroke, she felt an inexplicable fear engulfing her. It seemed as if the painting was coming to life and trying to communicate something to her. One night, as Claire worked in the living room again, she heard a whisper emanating from the depths of the painting. At first, she thought it was her imagination, but the whisper grew louder and more insistent. The words were incoherent, but she caught the phrase, They know you are here." Shaken, Claire shared this with Sarah. Together, they decided it was time to speak with Jackson and find out what he was hiding. During their meeting with him, they noticed his nervousness. Under pressure, he admitted that he knew about the rumors of the painting's curse, but had never given them much thought. "I thought it was just a legend," Jackson said, avoiding direct eye contact. "But if it's true, we must be cautious." Sarah suggested spending the night in the living room next to the painting to try to record the whisper and understand what it was trying to say. Claire agreed, though she was frightened. That night they settled on the couch, surrounded by recording equipment. Soon the silence was broken by the same whisper. Sarah turned on the recorder, hoping to capture some words. The whisper grew louder, and gradually they could discern. "Save. They are coming." These words alarmed them, and they decided to consult a local historian to learn more about the artist and his painting. The historian, an elderly man named Henry, was eager to help. On a moonless night, when shadows lengthened and the world seemed to stand still in anticipation, Claire Wilson, a renowned art restorer, sat in her studio. A warm glow from the lamp filled the room, creating a cozy atmosphere in this quiet corner. She was engrossed in studying an ancient canvas when the phone rang. It was Jackson Harrington, a well-known collector and owner of Harrington Manor. His voice was confident, yet there was a note of anxiety that pierced through to Claire. Jackson was inviting her to restore a recently discovered painting that legend surrounded. It was said that the canvas belonged to a mysterious 19th-century artist whose name was shrouded in mystery, and that it was linked to enigmatic events and disappearances. Driven by professional interest and inner unease, Claire agreed to the proposal, feeling that this work might become her most significant project. Stepping onto the grounds of Harrington Manor, Claire felt a strange sensation of excitement, mixed with inexplicable fear. The tall walls of the manor, overgrown with ivy and moss in places, seemed to hide many secrets. A cool breeze rustled the leaves of the old trees, whispering stories of long-gone times. The air was filled with the scent of withered roses and decaying leaves, adding an aura of mystery to the scene. Jackson met her at the grand doors of the manor, but there was a shadow in his eyes that Claire could not ignore. He was a middle-aged man with noble graying hair and manners that spoke of his distinguished lineage. "Welcome to Harrington Manor, Claire," Jackson said, extending his hand. His voice was warm, yet there was a hint of caution. "I've heard much about your talents and am certain you're the only one who can handle this job." Claire nodded, trying to hide her excitement. Her professional interest outweighed her fear, and she was determined to uncover the mysteries of the painting. "I will do everything possible to restore the painting," she confidently replied, following Jackson deeper into the manor. As soon as they entered the spacious living room, Claire immediately noticed the painting on an easel in the center of the room. The canvas was covered in a thick layer of dust and grime, but even through this veil, Claire could discern the outlines of a mysterious landscape. The landscape seemed to come alive, capturing her attention and evoking a strange feeling as if the painting itself were alive. Claire felt a chill run across her skin, as though someone invisible was examining her from within the canvas. "This is incredible," Claire whispered, stepping closer and carefully studying the canvas. She noticed how details hidden under the layer of dust began to emerge, telling their story. Suddenly, her attention was drawn to a barely noticeable inscription on the back of the painting, which seemed to be etched with great effort. "The secrets of the past live in the shadows." These words made her heart beat faster, but she tried not to reveal her excitement. Her mind immediately began to build hypotheses and guesses about who could have left such a message and what it might mean. "Does anyone know what this inscription means?" she asked, turning to Jackson, who stood nearby, lost in thought. Jackson frowned slightly, as if these words had awakened long-forgotten memories in him. "This painting was found in one of the abandoned wings of the manor. No one knows how it got there," he replied, pausing as if choosing his words. "There are rumors that it was painted by an artist who disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Perhaps this is his message." Claire felt her professional curiosity evolve into something more, a desire to unravel the mystery hidden behind this painting. Her interest in painting and art history now intertwined with a personal desire to understand what happened to the artist and how his work ended up abandoned in the old wing of the manor. She decided to use all her skills and intuition to restore it and learn the truth. That night, as Claire remained alone in her room, thoughts of the painting kept her awake. She tried to sleep, but questions swirled in her mind. What happened to the artist? Why did he leave such a strange message? And how is this painting connected to Harrington Manor? Images from the past were born in her mind, scenes she tried to picture, to piece together all the fragments of this mysterious puzzle. Suddenly, her attention was drawn to something on the bedside table. It was an old journal she hadn't noticed before. The cover bore the Harrington family crest, indicating its connection to the family's history. Claire opened the journal and began to read. The pages were filled with records of mysterious events that had occurred at the manor more than a century ago. Descriptions of strange sounds, disappearances, and mysterious figures seen in the vicinity made her heart stop with horror and curiosity. He explained that the artist, whose name had long been forgotten, was obsessed with capturing something beyond the material world on his canvases. It was said that he had made a pact with mysterious forces so that his paintings would become conduits to another realm. Claire and Sarah realized that the painting might hold the key to unraveling the disappearance of the Harrington family. They decided to return to the abandoned wings of the manor, hoping to find additional clues. In one of the dark corridors, they discovered a hidden door leading to a basement. There, among old books and manuscripts, they found a journal belonging to the artist himself. His entries spoke of a ritual he conducted to open a portal to another world. However, something went wrong, and he disappeared, leaving behind only the enigmatic painting. Understanding the danger, Claire and Sarah decided that the painting must be destroyed to sever the connection between the worlds. But before they could do so, Jackson disappeared. In a panic, they began searching and found him in one of the rooms, standing before the painting in a trance. Claire struggled to pull him away, and once he regained consciousness, he explained that the painting had been trying to pull him into its world. This conviction further solidified their resolve to get rid of the painting. Sarah and Claire conducted a destruction ritual using the knowledge they had gained from the journals. They burned the painting in an old fireplace, watching as the flames consumed it. The moment the painting vanished, they felt the manor fill with light and silence. It seemed that the shadows of the past had finally left Harrington Manor. After this event, Claire and Sarah left the manor, carrying with them the stories and memories of what they had experienced. They promised each other never to return to that place. Several months passed since Claire and Sarah had left Harrington Manor. Life was slowly returning to its usual course, but the memory of the events at the manor remained fresh. Each of them was dealing with the experience in their own way. Claire returned to her work as a restorer, but now she viewed each painting through new eyes, striving to see what lay hidden beneath layers of paint. She became more attentive to details and intuitively sensed when a work of art held something more than just an image. This ability aided her in her work, but also made her more cautious and selective in her projects. Sarah, in turn, wrote an article about their adventures at Harrington Manor, not revealing the whole truth, but enough to intrigue her readers. She received numerous responses and even offers for a book publication. However, she understood that some things were best left in secrecy to avoid drawing undue attention to dark forces. One evening, when Claire was at home, she received a package with no return address. Inside was an old locket she had seen at Harrington Manor. It was covered in a fine web, but when Claire touched it, she felt a familiar chill. Inside the locket was a photograph depicting the previous owners of the manor, the Harrington family. Claire immediately called Sarah, and they decided to meet to discuss this find. The meeting took place in a cozy cafe on the outskirts of the city, away from prying eyes. Sarah, upon seeing the locket, frowned. "I thought we were done with this story," she said, turning the locket in her hands. "What do you think this could mean?" Claire sighed, trying to suppress her growing unease. "I don't know. Maybe it's a warning or a plea for help. But one thing I do know. We have to be cautious." They decided that the locket needed to be examined further. Consulting a familiar antiquities expert, they soon learned that the locket belonged to the head of the Harrington family and was thought to be lost. The expert also noted that inside the locket was a hidden compartment that might contain something important. Using jewelry tools, they opened the compartment and discovered a tiny scroll with a coded message. It was a map leading to a cache in Harrington Manor, where other family artifacts might have been stored. Despite their fears and warnings, Claire and Sarah decided to return to the manor. They understood that they couldn't live in peace until they uncovered all the secrets left behind by the Harrington family. Upon arriving at Harrington Manor, they felt that the manor's atmosphere had changed. The shadows had vanished, and the house seemed more welcoming. They followed the map's directions, leading them to the basement where they had been before. In the cache, they found a chest filled with documents, old photographs, and personal belongings of the Harrington family. Among them was a journal, which, judging by the entries, belonged to the head of the family. It described their life at the manor and the mysterious events that led to the artist's disappearance and the creation of the painting. The journal revealed that the family had been trying to protect the world from an ancient force trapped within the painting. They used artifacts and rituals to keep it at bay. However, their efforts were in vain, and they vanished, leaving only legends behind. Claire and Sarah realized that their mission was to complete what the Harringtons had started and ensure the manor's safety. They gathered all the found documents and artifacts to hand them over to a museum where they could be studied and preserved for future generations. As they left the manor, Claire and Sarah felt the burden they had carried all this time finally lift. They had fulfilled their duty and could leave the past behind with a clear conscience. On the way back, they discussed how this story had changed their lives and perspectives on the world. They understood that sometimes the shadows of the past could become a source of light if understood and accepted correctly. Thus concluded their story, full of mysteries, discoveries, and trials. But they knew that somewhere in the world there were still untold secrets waiting for their heroes.